Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast Sway by Positivity. I am your host, Valerie, and today we are going to discuss episode 3 of Secrets and Sisterhood, the Sazadas. So, of course, I'm not doing this. I'm still playing with this whole video, the podcast, and when I did it the first time, I did it on my desktop, and for some reason, I'm short, y'all. I am barely 5 feet, okay? And I had my chair all the way, all the way up, and I had my camera as far down as I could make it go, and it just still looked like, it just didn't look right to me. However, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The face is not beat today, but that's okay. I'm still looking cute. So, I know I did the first 2 episodes together of Secrets and Sisterhood, the Sazadas, but there's a lot to unpack in season 3 and episode 3 and episode 4, that I'm just going to do episode 3 all by itself, okay? And bear with me because I am going to be looking at my notes, so I'll make sure I don't get nothing wrong, because I don't need nobody trying to email me or DM me saying I got something wrong. Now, I do have to say, in the first episode, that I did get Sadiqa's friend that Hamida is messing with. I thought her name was Robin, but it wasn't. Her name's Amy. So I'm gonna put my little cellular device, Sis, on silent. Okay. All right. So, if you're joining for the first time, hey, welcome. Come in, take off your shoes, get in a comfy spot, turn on the show. It's on Hulu if you want to see who I'm talking about, or look up the sister that I'm talking about, because there's a lot of the sisters. It's 10 of them. But welcome. This is a positive space. This is not my normal podcast episode. This is the after show corner, because I like to do a lot of different things, and binge watching TV shows, reality. For some reason, y'all, I have a thing for reality TV. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't have a life myself. I'm stuck up in this house every day, all day, every day. And so I have to live life vicariously through other people, right? Not right, but I really find it humorous. I learn things. And I think with this show, I'm learning things more than being entertained. So maybe that's why I'm really decided to share this show with you guys. But welcome. I hope that you like the content and you decide to come back. I normally do self-care tips, motivation, self-improvement. I'm a certified meditation teacher and happiness life coach. So I do share a lot of content and do I have done a few body scan meditations, or guided meditations, but this is a positive space. I want my positive energy to flow out of me into you guys, and hopefully, it benefits you some way, right? If you're returning, what do I want to call you guys? Everybody has their little nicknames for their followers or their listeners, and I never really, I guess I'll just call you guys my sway listeners, right? So I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming back over and over again. This month I wanted to get at least 100 listens, and I'm halfway there, and it's because of you. It's because of you guys, and I want to say Thank you. Okay, so let's dive right on in. I am not going to talk about this show in like a Mitzi Betsy way because it's just not. It's dramatic and it's drama, but it's a different kind of drama to me. This is the lives of 10 sisters, Muslim sisters, whose family fled from Afghanistan, and they have decided to share their life as sisters. Things that happen throughout sisterhood. At the same time, they're going to share their secrets. So the first secret was that Sister Jamila, and if you don't get a chance, hey, spoiler alert, if you have not gotten a chance to watch any of the episodes, you don't want the spoiler alert, don't listen. Come back when you have. And then listen to last week's episode because I went over episodes 1 and 2 of the show. Again, the show is on Hulu. I'm not sure if this is going to be a regular show of Hulu. There aren't any previous shows, so this is the first one. From what I understand, sister number 5, who is Shook, this is her idea. This is her project. So, we go into episode 3 with them having Taco Tuesday at the Wolf Pad. So it's Norea. It's not Norea. It's Hamida. It's Jamila, and it's Sadiqa. And they're planning Norea's birthday party. Her birthday is coming up. Well, Hamida wants to plan it. And they're kind of all surprised because they're like, Hamida, who doesn't plan or really do anything for anybody because she's the youngest. So she's the most spoiled. But Hamida she's been going through Norea withdrawals. Out of all the sisters, they two are the closest. And I think the other two closest are Sadiqa and Shaista. Sadiqa and Muslefa. So, she's planning Norea's party, and she's just getting ideas from the other two, right? So Sadiqa wants to do dinner in an escape room type party, which isn't a bad idea. Hamida wants to do cocktails and dinner at this famous restaurant in Los Angeles called Members. And then Jamila wants to do a kiddie style theme. She thought it would be fun because Norea has never had birthday parties as a kid, I guess. She's the number 9 sister. So she's the second to the youngest. Really, she mentioned it. She said it kind of sly that she really, whatever she can do to keep the elder sisters from knowing that she's pregnant, that's the first secret of the sisters, she will do. So if she has a kiddie theme birthday party, then it won't be a lot of drinking, and so maybe they won't realize she's not drinking and ask her why she's not drinking, hence thinking that she's pregnant. She trying to be slick, but I don't blame your girlfriend. I mean, that's a lot of baggage. You being pregnant and it's not for your estranged husband that you're trying to divorce, and it's for someone that it was a one-night stand. So yeah, I probably would be hiding that shit too, because it's almost like you get excommunicated, right? I'm thinking about John Wick. When every time I think of excommunication, I'm thinking of the movie John Wick. Like, she's not John Wick, but hell, she might as well be, the way she gonna be dipping and dodging this pregnancy issue, right? So Hamida is like, look, we're just going to do the cocktails and the dinner at Members. This is going to be really classy. And, that's that. So, moving on. Meanwhile, Shook and Rabia. So remember, Rabia used to live at the Wolf Pad. So the trifecta was Sadiqa, Hamida, and Norea, because they're the youngest three, right? And where they live is called the Wolf Pad, but they call themselves the Wolf Pack, right? So Rabia and Jamila both lived in Canada and moved to LA, and they moved into the Wolf Pad, right? Well, Shook, somewhere down the line, the way things have played out, I believe that before Shook invited Rabia to come and live with her. And I believe out of all this mess, this is just my interpretation. I don't know if this to be fact, but just from what we're being shown, and I think a lot of this is not scripted. Most reality shows are, but they do a lot of, hey, cut the cameras, cut the mics off. We got some shit we need to deal with, and we're going to deal with it off of camera. So, I don't think any of it is really scripted. But I do think that Shook invited Rabia to come and live with her. And at the time, it was during the time that Shook hadn't decided to reconcile with Josh, who is her husband. At one point, they were separated, and she was thinking about leaving him, but then they decided to reconcile because he ended up going to get help for his drug addiction. Pharmaceutical addiction. Let's put it that way. Pharmaceutical addiction. And I think they had just purchased a house. I'm not sure, but she's a realtor. She had this house, this really huge house. She invited Rabia to come and rent a room. And she did that, right? Well, later she got upset and tried to claim that she wanted a bigger room, that Shook didn't show her all the rooms. She showed her the rooms she wanted to show her, and out of those rooms, she picked the biggest one. And that she didn't want to hear her and Josh, bada bing bada doing it. And she wanted another room. And Shook was like, no, why should I put you in another room? The room that you're in is huge. Like, you're on the other side of the house. Like, you have a whole side of the house to yourself. Like, why are you tripping? No, if you don't like it, you can go. So Rabia left, and so now Rabia is trying to say, well, it's Shook's fault that had she known she was going to do this, or she wasn't going to give her the biggest room, that she would have not canceled going to see these other places that she had, inquired about moving into. But I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because I've seen, you all will see, Shook's house. And it's big. And they showed the room that she was in. It was a pretty big room. Like, how much bigger can you get? Like, really? So, this is me. Everybody, even though in episode 1, they kind of all hashed out what they were feeling about Josh and how much hurt he put her through and what have you. They were supposed to have all put out what they were feeling, address it. He was there. They addressed it with him, and we're going to move on. But I believe that Rabia thought, because she mentioned, well, I can't say, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think that Rabia thought that the house was going to be theirs together, because she didn't intend on Shook reconciling with Josh. So they're at ends, and in the process, a lot of ugly things were said. Rabia tried to threaten Shook with the fact that, hey, you're just doing this because you think this is your show, and threatened to, use the show to get back at Shook, which is uncool. But, Shook says to hell with you. Get your ass out if that's what you feel. Um, so right now, Rabia thinks that Shook should apologize to her. And I can't remember who Rabia was talking to. Rabia was talking to Khadijah, I believe. And Khadijah was like, well, don't you think you owe Shook an apology too? And Rabia was like, for what? I'm the elder. Why should I apologize? And that's one thing I'm going to address in this episode as well. This elder shit, right? So, we learned that this show has come about because of Shook. Shook thought that it would be interesting to have this show for her and her sister. So I guess it's kind of like her baby, right? We learn a little bit more about Muzdalifa. So we know that Muzdalifa, at first I thought Muzdalifa had moved from Pakistan here to the U.S., but I was thinking about Shaista. So Muzdalifa is actually here visiting in the States. She's currently from the UK. She is still married. She had an arranged marriage. She saw her husband about 3 times before they got married. She's totally traditional. She wears her hijab. She's covered from head to toe. The only thing you can see is her hands and maybe her feet. But she's covered up to her elbows. She's covered up to her ankles. So Sadiqa and her are pretty close, and Sadiqa offers to dress her for Norea's party, and she's like, well, can your arms be out? And she was like, gave it a look like, no, I'm not doing that. Look, you could cutify me. And even though I'm in America, I'm still going to be traditional me. Okay? But she Sadiqa convinces Muzdalifa to let her dress her for Norea's party. Hamida and Norea, they meet up and they talk. And they talk about Hamida being interested in Amy, and Norea learns that, well, she doesn't know it's Amy. Hamida tells her, hey, I really am in this relationship with a chick. The chick is Amy. Sadiqa doesn't know. So Nori is surprised. She's shocked. She's a little hurt that Hamida didn't tell her. However, she's like, do you. Do what makes you happy. If this is what you're going to do and this is what you want to do, then do it. And of course, in Hamida, I don't know if you guys saw the first episode, she doesn't give a shit about what nobody thinks but the elders and her mom. She is like, mom is going to see this episode, and she immediately starts crying. So there's a huge burden of becoming bi-curious and are finding out that she is really into women and what is culturally accepted by her faith and, just being a Muslim. So, but, Norea just kind of, solidifies her support for her in whatever decision that she makes. She doesn't want her to make the decision to not explore that part of her, curiosity for the sake of, don't spare your happiness for the sake of others. That you have to, and to me, I think it has to do with the fact that they've been an oppressed women for so long. Like, they have they're in Pakistan and Afghanistan, there is the women have no value, pretty much, to be honest. And I think growing up in America, even though they grew up Muslim, but growing up in America, they realized, you know what, we don't have to continue to be like this. We're not over there. We don't have to be like that anymore. And that's where Norea and Hamida are. They're like, to hell with this shit. We're tired of being an oppressed women, and we're ready to just do and be ourselves. And I'm all for it. I as a black woman, I know that as a brown woman, I know that things are really hard for us. There are some things that we go through as brown women that we should not be going through. Just because we're strong, we should be able to handle it, or we should be able to, endure it. But that's bullshit. If nobody else should be, if everybody else hasn't decided to be strong, I because of that, I should be. No, I don't think so. Anyway, I can kind of understand. I can kind of, relate to what they're feeling as far as being able to live their own lives. So, so we then learned there's a secret number 3. So secret number 3. So secret number 1 was Jamila is pregnant. Secret number 2 is Hamida likes women. Secret number 3 is Norea has broken up with her boyfriend. She has gotten rid of the narcissistic bastard that has been controlling her. He has made it evident that she should be in a woman's place. And that's some bullshit right there as well. I'm not going to even start on that. She said that whenever he would come home, all he wanted to do was talk about his work day, what he did at work, what his work is like. He never inquired about her and what she was doing and, about her just as a person. And she was like, I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to sit down and listen to your, work day all day, every day. Who wants to do that shit, right? She felt very threatened by him, and the reason why she felt threatened by him is she said one day they were at her car and they got into an argument, and he pushed her down. And when he pushed her down, he told her, "I'm so mad, I'm gonna hit you." So when bro, when you tell me that you're going to hit me, that means you had intent to hurt me when you pushed me down, and that means you got to go. And so that's what Norea said. He got to go. So she moved in. I don't know if the place that they had moved in together is the place that they showed her in, but they showed her like smudging her apartment, her space. She was like, look, I have to get, it's not that she doesn't have her life together. She was like, I got to get rid of all this negative energy. And this is one thing I've learned. I've learned from watching, was it Temptation Island? It was the show where they're all in this huge mansion, all these over sexualized people, young people, and they couldn't have sex. It was like $1 million on the line, and every time you did something you weren't supposed to do, they would lose the money. And the couple, they wanted you to foster healthy relationships and form couples, and the couple at the end that formed the best relationship and bond won the remaining money. Well, I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I going to talk about? This is what I was going to say. So they would have these therapists and coaches come in and teach them different things. And there was a coach that came in for the women. So they were separate. They would have coaches for the men and they would gather them together, and coaches for the women and they would gather them together. And one time there was one coach, she had told them, was explaining to the ladies that there is a such thing as sexual energy, right? And just energy as a whole when you're dealing with people in a relationship, intimacy, when you take on lovers, that you have to cleanse that energy before you get into another relationship. Otherwise, you'll be bringing that energy from the energy you have plus whatever energy that person had, whether it was bad or good. Either way, it did not belong. Their energy, along with your energy when you were with them, does not belong in the next relationship that you have, right? And so I think this is why she was really smudging the apartment and why she wants to focus on her. She wants to get rid of all that energy because she does not have very successful relationships. Like, that was one reason why they're like really trying to focus on that's why Hamida was really excited about throwing the party for Narelle, because she was like, hey, this would be the first party that she'll ever have where an ex or boyfriend didn't blow up the scene, right? And so she just, she said she just wants to focus on her, being the woman that, the best woman she can be. So then when she does go into the next relationship, she's ready, which I totally agree. But when she was doing that, it reminded me of that scene from that show. So then we get some bad news. We get that Shook has to rush Jamila to the emergency room. And when she gets there, there's no fetal heartbeat. And she basically has to have a DNC. She ends up she loses the baby. She has a miscarriage. And let me tell y'all, I have witnessed someone really, really close to me who has had to go through that process. And it's devastating. I would not wish it on my worst female enemy, right? And she loses the baby, and then I don't know if it's a week later, but she goes back to the doctor, and the doctor is pretty much telling her, look, you're going to have to give yourself time to heal. This is 6 months. You can't allow yourself to get, basically what he was saying is that you can't allow yourself to get pregnant again because it's going to take you about 6 months to heal on the inside, right? So she calls Shook because Shook is the one that took her to the hospital and just needing someone to talk to. And y'all, remember at the beginning in the first, if you listen to the first episode, y'all know I'm team Shook, right? But I was so disappointed in her response to Jamila. She basically she threw every ounce of culture and religion at Jamila, and what the thing that got me the most is when she told her, God does everything for a reason. So what are you saying? What are you telling her? That God did this to punish her because she was having a baby out of wedlock? Like, of all the things you could say, if you don't have nothing nice to say, just don't say it at all at this point in time, right? Had it been a year or so later and you wanted to have this type of conversation with Jamila, great. But right now, it's so fresh. She had got used to having a living being inside of her to have no living being. She was really excited. Think about it. She no longer had a husband, so she was by herself, and this baby was so many different things to her, right? And then you go and you tell her this is coming from your sister, not from who's supposed to be a friend or an acquaintance or whatever. This is your sister, your best friend, you know what I'm saying? And she told her that she needed to make better choices. What else did she tell her? She told her to be responsible. You need to be responsible. Don't let it happen again. And she said it just like that. Don't let it happen again. Like, it was just such a shock, and she already feeling by herself. She's already feeling alone. And to be told this by someone who is supposed to love you so much, it was just, to me, I just felt like I was just very disappointed. The shit pissed me off, right? to be honest. Um, so because of that, she does not want the elders to know anything. She does not want them to know that she was pregnant. She doesn't want them to know that she had a miscarriage. She just wants everybody to shut the hell up. Don't say anything. And of course, the wolf pack they understand. They're like, absolutely. But Shook, baby, I'm I'm disappointed. I just really feel like it was just, that was so uncalled for. She could have said, you know what, sweetie, honey, I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm sorry it's hurting. I just wish you have some peace about it. It was so many other different things she could have said, and she didn't. And I don't think that has anything with her being the hood part of her. I just think that it was just these elders. Again, hold off. Let's talk about, we're going to end it with party day. So whenever they meet each other, they always kiss each other on the lips, or they say salam. Rabia and Shook, they don't say salam to each other. And it's like, it makes the atmosphere very tense. It's Nerea, it's Hamida's little homie, Same. He shows up with his cute self, and when I say checks all the boxes. It's Shook, Josh, it's Sadiqa, it's Rabia, and I feel like I missed Jamila. Jamila is there. And so they're having cocktails, right? And so Sadiqa decides, I'm just going to pull Rabia and Shook aside and have them reconcile. I think that it was a birthday party and everything should have just focused on the birthday party. And I just think you should have just let Rabia and Shook, figure it out on their own. Or if they came to you about it, then, maybe, pull them aside at the end of the party, not during the party. So she does that and she walks off. And guess what? Shit gets popped off. The whole thing blows up. Rabia, for some reason, again, she says it was supposed to be our home, and Shook was like, what are you talking about? My husband bought that house. Why would the house be yours if my husband bought the house? Like, come on. Rabia then says, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have the house. Like, how? She's a realtor. Like, at what point, what did you do to cause Shook to have a house and you don't have your own house? I'm just saying. That's what I was thinking. So Shook apologizes to Rabia for the way Rabia feels, not because of anything she may have said. Rabia throws out I'm the elder. If anything, you should be apologizing to me. All of this was your fault. I didn't do anything. I'm not the problem. I'm not the cause. I'm innocent. You're the villain. And so that shit gets popped off really quickly. And so the other girls are like, and then Sadiqa goes, she's listening to this off to the side, goes back to the main party and tells everybody, party over, it's time to go, let's go home, I'm going to the house. Like, Hamida is like, no, who are you to say the party is over? Why are you doing this? And, Nerea never has a party where things are just copacetic and goes really well, and then you pull this shit. And that's how the episode ends. So there's going to be a continuance of that, I'm sure. So let me talk about these elders right quick, because then I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to be done for this episode. I am the oldest. I don't have 10 sisters. It's 4 of us. I'm the oldest. I do not have this I'm the elder mentality. Even though I did a lot of helping my mom raise my sisters. She was a single parent. At one time, she was really sick. So I did a lot. I had to grow up really, really quick and really, really fast. But I don't hold that over my sisters' heads. Like, because I did that, you should, everything and every decision in your life, you need to cater to me. Now, one thing that I did do this year that I'm trying to focus on is building stronger relationships with my youngest two sisters, because we're not as close. And the reason why is because I realized my mom is going to be 70 this year. We're not promised tomorrow. If anything happens to her, I will become the matriarch, patriarch, however you call it, of the family, right? And so I need to make sure that I'm in a good space with my youngest sisters, because I'm going to be the glue. I'm going to have to be the glue, So in that sense, that's the most I've thought about holding myself as an elder. With them, it's like, we're the elders. What we say, go. And that's how Khadijah responded to Hamida. When she found out Hamida liked girls, she was like, get it out of your head. Like, you're going to do this shit right now because I said so. I'm an elder. You have to do it. And I just think that is so wrong. I think they are holding the family to their cultural and religion aspects, along with all the other stuff. This is how we would have to behave if we were in Afghanistan or Pakistan, and they have to let go of that because you're no longer there. You're in America. You don't have to act like that. You don't have to continue to be an oppressed woman or oppressed women because you're Muslim and you were raised in Afghanistan. You have to let that go, and you have to stop holding that over the younger sisters, because it's just not fair for you to continue to keep them oppressed by how you were raised and the standards in which you were raised by. Is just, I think it's unfair, because really, you didn't like it when you were in Afghanistan. Why are you making them like it now that they're in America and they have freedom of speech and freedom of pretty much everything, right? So, yeah, I'm going to need them elders to get their shit together and get off of those high horses. Because to me, that's a high horse. The way Shook responded to Jamila, like, that should not be taking place to me. And that's it. That's pretty much what I have to say about the episode. I mean, it was a lot. It really was a lot. I think Sadiqa is a shit starter. I really, truly, when they say she have loose lips and she's dramatic, I believe them, because just like it was itching. Like she really couldn't they didn't even make it to dinner. Okay? They didn't even make it to dinner because you decided to pull Shook and Rabia to the side over something that was already some bullshit. Like, I just think it was so... And then she didn't even, like, apologize or anything. She didn't say, I'm sorry, guys. Looks like it's gonna, this is not... Things didn't turn out right. I'm sorry, Norea, that things did... She was like, party over. I'm going to the house. Everybody, let's go. Round it up. Like, the fuck? So, yeah. If you can find my social media platforms in the Linktree link in my bio. If you get a chance, sound off, send me a message. I'd like to know what you think. If you watched the episode, or if you're interested, or you watched the episode and you have any of your own commentary, I'd like to know. Leave some comments down below, because I am going to post this to YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you have the opportunity to put the comments down below. And that's going to be it until the next episode. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.